the Horn of Africa. This came during talks with the Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Mike Hammer, and Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee. More in the following report.
Cairo stressed that the Horn of Africa region has always been a priority file for the Egyptian foreign policy, given its direct connection to Egypt's national security. Abdel's remarks came during a meeting he convened Friday with U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Mike Hammer, and Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee. The talks come in continuation of the series of meetings he is having during his current visit to Washington. According to the Foreign Ministry spokesman Tamim Khalaf, the top Egyptian diplomat stressed Egypt's keenness to support efforts to achieve stability and restore security in the countries of the Horn of Africa, as well as to combat terrorism, extremism and organized crime in this area, which is vital for regional and international security and for safeguarding global shipping movement in the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandab Strait. Abdel affirmed Cairo's keenness to work for strengthening peace, security and sustainable development efforts in the African continent. He highlighted Cairo's leadership role in the post-conflict reconstruction and development file of the African Union. He also highlighted Egypt's hosting of the African Union Center for Post-Conflict Reconstruction and Development and the establishment of Cairo International Center on Conflict Resolution, Preservation and Peace Building. Abdel said Cairo is keen to achieve stability in Somalia by supporting its state institutions, promoting respect for its sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as supporting efforts of the Somali federal government to realize security, combat terrorism and have control over all Somali national soil. He pointed out that Cairo's stance emanates from its responsibility towards contributing to the maintenance of regional and international peace and security, in accordance with the principles of the UN Charter, the Constitutive Act of the African Union, and the Arab League Charter.
And on the significance of the Horn of Africa and its impact on Egyptian security, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Rahman, a journalist and political analyst. Good afternoon, sir.
Well, good afternoon to you, hello to you and the dear viewers.
Sir, how do you weigh the focus on the security at the Horn of Africa by global heavyweights?
Well, it's the case of the time, and at this very significant time, such efforts accomplished by the Egyptian government and the Minister of our own Foreign Affairs is appreciated, and we are expecting those efforts to achieve more goals, cooperating with our neighborly associates and those who are in charge and responsible in Horn of Africa countries and responsible to find a resolution to this case. That matter is a concerning matter to all Egyptians and Sudanese and all of the nations and all of the people in Eastern Africa. We have strong relations, we have common roots, and we have so strong a base of diplomacy that we can build upon, and we can achieve positive goals and positive efforts coordinating with our associates in the continent.
Sir, at the talks between Egyptian top diplomat in Egypt and the U.S. envoy for the Horn of Africa, Foreign Minister Abdel said the Horn of Africa has always been a priority file of the Egyptian foreign policy, given its direct connection to Egypt's national security. Now, how does the security at the Horn of Africa impact the Egyptian national security?
Well, such a statement represents how important that case is to Egypt, and expresses the deep concern about an escalating danger that is threatening our own national security, our own water national security file, which is a main concern to the government and the leadership of our country, Mr. President Abdel al-Sisi, who has declared it more than once that our water national security is a red line. just like the red line to the south that we have drawn, and today we are facing an escalating danger. There is a negative situation and a negative step taken by the leadership in Ethiopia, supported by regional powers and international powers and Zionist powers. Those are the main supporters to that negative situation taken by Ethiopia. Ethiopia's nation is a friendly nation. We have deep, long relations, and we have strong roots that gather the Egyptian and the Ethiopian nation. But for the leadership in Addis Ababa to realize that those relations need positive situations, need more looking with concern, our own best interest, that those concerns, that the rights, the Egyptian rights and the Sudanese rights and other countries' rights in the Nile basin. We are not talking just about the Egyptian rights, but the whole Nile basin's rights. We have too many countries that is surrounding the Nile basin. They are all benefiting from that gift from Allah. So we should use that gift in a sharing position, in a sharing feeling, in a sharing step, not withholding and manipulating steps like those that was taken by the Ethiopians, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. We need also to take steps and to accomplish more effort against those who are supporting the Ethiopian influence in that region, in the Horn of Africa, that unrecognized piece of Somal, which is called Somaliland, which is not recognized as a country. We have some countries that are supporting that unrecognized state with projects, with economical projects and military aid and support against an African country, which is Somalia. Somalia is a friendly and a brotherly nation to Ethiopia and to Egypt, and we should use those concepts, that friendly nation, that friendly feeling, to absorb any hostilities among us. Together we can share that gift from Allah, the Nile basin, with the good, for all of our nations, not just to be on account of the rest of the nations, for the benefit of one nation or one country.
Indeed, sir. Mr. Abdel Rahman, now, how do you assess the latest move by Egypt to send troops to Somalia and its impact on Egyptian national security?
Well, that was a very significant and important and expected step, especially from the Somalis. The Somalian nation expects from the guardian of the continent to protect its neighbor, to protect the right, the Somali right in its own land. That piece of land is cut from the Somaliland by the British colonization. And now the British colonization and the powers that are supporting Ethiopia and other countries that are supporting that unrecognized and unrecognized state cut from Somalia. Of course, the Somaliland is not a recognized country, especially that today there is a very important treaty between Egypt and Somalia. It's a common defense to protect the Somaliland and the Somali interests. We didn't yet send any troops, but we are expected to send troops, of course, at the right time to be declared. And of course, we have witnessed that some military aid, some military weapons were pouring to Somaliland and to Ethiopia from regional and international countries. We should stop against this, and we should prevent any aid to that would threaten the national security and the international security in the Horn of Africa.
Indeed. Mr. Abdurrahman, the talks in Washington focused on restoring security in the countries of the Horn of Africa. In your opinion, what steps need to be taken in this regard?
Well, as 1, 2, 3, we're talking about eliminating the threat of the Houthis. The Houthis are one of the greatest threats to our own national security in the Red Sea. They were created by the Iranian influence to serve the Iranian influence and to threaten our own national security in Egypt as well as the African countries that is connected to the African Horn. We need to eliminate this danger. We need to eliminate that threat. That is a terroristic group, just like what they call it the Dam al-Sharia in Sudan. This is a terroristic group, and terroristic should not be negotiated with, but to be eliminated and dealt with force. There is no other way. This is one thing to do. Second, we need to strengthen our relations with the international community and to take a stand against the Ethiopian greed. I'm talking about the leadership, of course, not the nation. There is the greed of the leadership in Addis Ababa that is threaten our own national security.
Yes. Sir, how are events in the Horn of Africa impacting global shipping in the Red Sea and Bab el-Mandab Strait?
We have all witnessed how the international trade was threatened and affected in the most severe way that has never happened since the Suez Canal was established. And not only Egypt is suffering, the whole world is suffering. The whole countries of the world. We have witnessed how the prices are getting higher and higher, not only in Egypt but in the whole of all of the world. All of the nations are suffering from such terroristic attacks by the Houthis. That is a true and direct threat to our own national security and the international security, of course. We are talking about what threatens the economy, the international economy is threatening Egypt and goes side by side. So together, we should work together to eliminate that threat.
Well, I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, a journalist and political analyst. Many thanks for your insights, sir. And dear viewers, now we move on to our special reports. And moving on to Somalia, the threat of improvised explosive devices remains critical in Somalia. Observers say their impact on local communities and national armed forces is devastating, adding that in the last 12 months, around